Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and I'm outside one of the more frustrating properties I've bought in a while. And that is because of the town and just how confusing and unresponsive they have been when trying to do some work on this property. So it's this building right here, plus the house you just saw. We're going to show some emails from the town. You can tell me if I'm being crazy. And what else is crazy is part of my car fell off, and I don't know where or why, that bottom grill. I just noticed that. But we love the likes, love the shares, love the comments. Keep those coming, and we'll talk about what is going on with this property right now. All right. So this used to be a church, and then there's one apartment to the left you can't see, one upstairs. We remodeled those apartments. They're both rented now. That's going great. Here's a laundry room for everybody. We put in coin-op laundry, assuming that we'd have two more apartments in this building because we want to convert this church space to two residences. Had an architect help. Our subs looked at it, checked everything out. We looked at the city code, thought everything was good to go, and then the city basically said, hold on, you've got to redo everything in this building, including pave the alleys, pave a parking lot, put in a fire sprinkler system, do all this stuff, even though the architect, our survey guy who we did a survey on as well, all read the code as something completely different. So I went to a town meeting, not helpful at all. They pretty much said I had to spend around $200,000 after buying water, because I had to buy 2 water shares as well, to even get this ready to start construction. So that wasn't working. And since then, we've had lots of issues on trying to figure out what we can use this property for. And the city basically almost completely ignores me and has not been helpful at all. So we have a plan now we'll talk about. And I wanted to get your opinion as well on these emails and if I should be as confused as I am right now, because they don't make sense. The uses don't make much sense, and the city simply won't respond to clarify any of this. So in a way, I mean, that might just give me a green light to do what I want, but we won't quite go that far. We'll talk about what we're going to do. And one of those ideas is to just turn this into an event center, because I think that might be an allowed use. Again, I don't know for sure because the city won't, help us out there. But we could refinish the hardwood, kind of keep it how it is. It's got a kitchen space, an open space, and just let people use it for event space and go from there. But let's take a look at these emails and see what's going on. All right, so we're going to go through the emails they sent me, and you tell me if I'm being crazy and should understand what they're talking about, or if I'm justified in not knowing what in the world is going on here. And I keep emailing them and asking them, and I've called them, and they just won't respond. And it's really interesting, too, because the phone number for planning and zoning on the town's website, I don't know, maybe it works now, but before it didn't, they wouldn't answer it. You leave messages and they wouldn't respond. And then the planner said, oh, you can't use that phone number. You have to call my cell phone, which is actually a different state phone number, cell phone. And somehow we're supposed to know that's how you get a hold of them. But maybe that's changed now. Anyway, this started back when I think they were still closed for COVID. It's been that long. And we're just trying to figure out what's happening. So we had a meeting with them on June 13th. And if you can see below here, it talks about that meeting, and that's where I met with the fire department, the public works, the zoning, planning, some other people, and they basically said I have to buy 2 water taps because the house and the building are on 1 water tap, and a share of water is $65,000, so I had to buy 2 of those, plus the tap fees, plus I had to put a fire sprinkler system in the building, I had to pave the alley, had to pave the parking lot, had to have an irrigation plan, a survey done, put firewalls in the entire exterior of the building. Basically, it's about $200,000 in cost before we start any of the construction. And literally, we're putting 2 apartments in with 2 bedrooms each that would take no structural work at all on this property. No structural. And so I said, there's no way I can do that. I'm not going to spend $200,000 to do that because it doesn't make financial sense. I bought the property for $515,000. If I do all that work plus make the apartments, I mean, it's going to be worth more than I bought it for, and might be worth a little more than my cost, but I can also sell it right now for more than I bought it for and just not even worry about that. So here's the emails that I got after that meeting, and then I said, hey, what can I use it for now? It used to be a church. What can I use it for if I don't do this whole site plan process and go through all of that? And it literally took a month for them to respond, about 3 or 4 emails, and I said, hi, I'm still waiting for that. And I think I had to email the mayor before they responded to me as well. And they said, oh, just, they'll take care of it. Email them, have another meeting with them. I'm like, that hasn't really worked so well. So finally, they responded to me, and this is the response. The second part of that email, I know it's kind of weird. I wanted to delete contact numbers and information there, and we'll take a look at this part in a second. But here is finally their response after a month down here. The existing uses are allowed under the municipal code's non-conforming uses. I think it means non-conforming. Although we were able to verify that the third apartment was actually approved, we were unable to verify the third apartment was actually approved, and there are notes on a 2014 sign permit from a previous staff member inquiring about land use permit to a previous owner. See attached. A breakaway from the email. This is the first I've ever heard about a third apartment or this other. I have no idea what they're talking about. And I emailed them saying, hey, what is this third apartment? What is that? And they didn't respond, of course. But continuing with the email, any change of use will require site plan approval, compliance with the requirements discussed in our June 13th meeting and sent in previous emails, and as well as any required building permits. See below for specific comments. So again, they're saying I have to spend this $200,000 for any change of use. All right, so we'll go back to the other email that continues. Oops, up here, right here. Please contact regarding compliance with municipal code and water and sewer for any connections, service lines shared by both structures. Please see below for specific comments from the fire district and town's building official. ProCode, who's the building department, does all the building permits. Any existing use can be continued without any permits from building. If the use is modified or changed, then a building permit will be required. Naturally, I responded to them. I found their email and said, hey, what do you consider the existing use? What businesses can we have in there? What would you allow? Never responded. Won't respond to me. Fire department, that's what that stands for. I would agree with ProCode on their statement that current uses can continue without additional permitting. That being said, from the materials you've provided, it appears that most recent current uses in the two-story building include a small assembly hall / church on the main floor, a single apartment on the main floor, and a single apartment on the second floor. Please reach out if you have any questions. Again, they're telling me a small assembly hall / church is the current use. What does that mean? What does a small assembly hall, what businesses can I have there? Nobody will respond to me. Just won't do it. So, like I said, I emailed them back and forth. And then I did receive, like that same day, another email. And then we're going back and forth here. Good morning, Mark. This is someone else from the town. I also want to provide you a copy of the mixed-use commercial downtown MU-C-D zone district. This provides a list of uses allowed by right and conditional in the MU-C-D district. Any conditional uses will require an additional application process with Pepper. This contradicts everything they just told me, and that any conditional uses will require an additional application process. Does that mean that any uses by right I can do? It almost sounds like that, but then in their meetings and what they tell me in person is that we have to have a site plan meeting or site plan for any change of use, but this has any conditional uses. Please, if anyone knows how to interpret this, I would love to hear it. So, moving to this. This is the document they sent me with the mixed-use commercial downtown. All right. This tells about the intent, character, blah, 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 blah. Provide convenient business, facilitate small business, limit direct approaches on Highway 60. My property is not on Highway 60. Build a clear identity for downtown. Use regulations. Uses by right. So according to that last email, uses by right, they're almost saying I can do this without another application process. But again, it's confusing. Again, of course I emailed them and asked them to, hold on. Get rid of that. There. Asked them to clarify what that means, but they did not respond. Which kind of means, if they don't respond, right, is that my fault if we do something else? I don't know. Anyway, uses by right. Residential and residential related uses. Accessory buildings and structures, accessory dwelling, including caretaker units, adult daycare, daycare centers, senior centers, bed and breakfast, home occupations, live, work residences, single family and multifamily dwellings, which is what I wanted to do. Two-family dwellings, single-family detached dwellings, solar energy systems, wireless communication facility. So these are supposed to be uses by right. And maybe they can say, well, because I'm adding more units, there's more occupancy load, I need to do a site plan and have more water. But if that's their theory for why I need to go through a site plan, if I'm doing some of these, maybe not residential, but these uses, and I'm not increasing, occupancy load past its current use, does that mean that I can just use it for those and not go through this? Institutional, civic, public uses. Clubs and lodges, cultural and educational facilities, parks and open space, places of worship, which is what it was, public and private schools, public buildings, including police, fire stations, etc. Now, what's interesting here is they told me before, if we go back to these emails, it appears the most recent current uses being small assembly hall church. Well, what's interesting about that is that term is not used here. We have places of worship. Small assembly hall is not ever used here. And I asked again what that means. Of course, they didn't respond. But so their own words in terms for its use doesn't match what their code says. But anyway, we'll move on. Commercial uses. Adult daycare, care centers, senior centers, animal boarding, animal clinics, veterinary facilities, bars, taverns, pubs, liquor stores, child care centers, eating and drinking establishments without drive-through, entertainment facilities, theaters, including meeting facilities, gas stations without repair and servicing facilities or car wash capabilities, hotels, motels up to 35 rooms, medical and dental offices, places of worship again, professional services, outdoor dining areas, retail sales, single-family and multifamily dwellings in conjunction with commercial uses, workshops, and small trades enclosed within a building. These are all uses by right, all of them. So according to that one email, I should be able to use it for all of these without an additional application process, but maybe not. Conditional uses, these are the uses that I'm supposed to get an additional process, application process, do more for. Animal boarding, including daycare. That was up here too, but it says see to conditional uses, so I don't know what that means exactly. Auto, recreational, boat sales. This building actually used to be a car sales place way, way long time ago, like 100 years ago. I have a cool picture of that. Gas, oil, drilling, production, group home, medical clinics, long-term facilities, restaurants, drive-through, utility facilities, major and minor, vocational, technical schools and colleges, uses not listed as either uses by right or conditional uses that are similar to and comparable with the intent of mixed-use downtown district. And it goes through the dimension requirements, development standards, all these different things. This says what they define as how they want to feel. Nowhere in any of their code or anything have they sent me has it said that I have to have a site plan review for using these things, or even the conditional uses, although I can understand that with the conditional uses, it's conditional on the town approving it, allowing it, whatever. So, again, I've asked them repeatedly what exactly a church assembly hall means, what I can use that for. They won't respond. I asked them about the uses by right, if I can do these without additional planning, which obviously I can't because they won't let me do multifamily without a site plan, even though it doesn't really say that anywhere. That's what my architect and survey person also said, is like, hey, you should be able to do these. Nowhere in their code does it say you have to do a site plan, have to do all this stuff. But according to the town, it does say that. And then if I can't switch uses, what is an assembly hall church? And so in my theory, an assembly hall sure sounds like an event center. You're assembling, you're getting together, you're having a party. Why not? So that's our new plan going forward. Since the town won't respond to me, they won't help me out. They're obviously not super helpful with development or adding housing in their area. We're going to make it an event center. We'll see how that goes. And what's really ironic and funny is the town actually has rooms. I think I was in some of those rooms for my meeting. They're very large rooms that they rent out to people for events. So I can become a direct competitor with the town for their event center. I wonder if they went through a site plan process to get their event center approved. If they give me any trouble, I think I might have to ask them that question and see all that paperwork and where they got that approved from. We'll see. Anyway, that's the plan. That's where we're at right now. We'll see how all this goes. Been a very interesting journey on this property. It's a cool property, a neat property. I think it's still a good deal. But we've got 2 of the apartments rented already. The house is rented, although a little below market. I paid $515 for this property. It should be worth quite a bit more with everything rented. And if we can start generating income with the event center, it's not going to be one where we're providing staff or catering it or anything like that. We're just providing the space, and maybe we'll provide some cleaning or something if people need it, and someone to unlock the doors, and that's it. And I don't know what to charge yet. Don't know exactly how far we'll go fixing it up, but that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. And then I think once we get it more stabilized, we'll probably try to sell this one and avoid this town for any future projects for some reason. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Should I know what all this means? Or do you also think it's very confusing on what we can and can't do? Love to see your comments. Love to see your likes. Love to see your shares. Keep those coming. Love your support. And we'll have many more videos coming up on this property, our other flips that are residential. I have another flip in this town as well. Rental properties, businesses, all that good stuff. And of course, advice and educational videos too. All right, we'll be back. Thank you very much.